Welcome to Bow Ties Sometimes Cool with myself, Ashley, and Ed. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Ash. How are you?
Very good, thank you. It's the end of the week, which is always nice. And this evening, we're going to be talking about The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Now, Ed, I think this is the first time we're going to possibly disagree. And this might set a trend, who knows, for 2023. You love it, don't you, Ed?
Yeah, I've only ever seen it twice. I watched it the first time about 20 years ago when it first came out on DVD, and I thought, yeah, it was quite good. And then when we discussed doing a sort of New Year's special for this, I picked up the Blu-ray, and then all work and no play make Jack a dull boy, and that's all people know about it. But if you step back and you watch it as a piece of filmmaking, it wrong foots you from the first second and doesn't stop wrong footing you right to the end. Now, I'm not a massive Stanley Kubrick fan per se. I find his films generally overlong and quite stodgy and quite self-indulgent. But I think as a piece of filmmaking, maybe not as a piece of filming that's faithful to the book, because Stephen King, I think, is on record saying he didn't like what he'd done with his work. But as a piece of filmmaking, it transcends film and it's almost art. Now, as I said previously, the film sort of wrong foots the viewer from the beginning. And again, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, but apparently Kubrick used a lens for the open tracking shot where they're tracking over the lake and you follow the car up to the Outlook Hotel. The tracking shot, Kubrick uses a lens that had never ever been used before in filmmaking, so the aspect was ever so slightly off. But your eyes wouldn't see that, but your brain would sort of suddenly, hold on, there's something not quite right here, because your brain processes information obviously at greater speed than your eyes can.
It's a good bit of filmmaking, I suppose, if I was going to try and look at it objectively, but it's a bit too long for my liking. And you just think, yeah, that scene would have been all right. The film would have been still okay if that scene wasn't in it. This is my opinion, obviously. And I think they just got a bit carried away with the new invention at the time, which was the Steadicam. They used Steadicam loads. In fact, I think this was the first Steadicam had only been invented about 4 years before, and I think this is the first time it had been used at a low level, which was experimental, and that's when they're filming Danny as he's going around the whole place, and so that was kind of experimental at the time. I feel like there was just a toy which they got and he ran with it loads. It's okay. I tell you what, I did discover though. Did you know they said that all of the interior was filmed in Elstree?
I had no idea. I thought it was a real hotel.
No. And I've watched it back because I thought, oh, hang on, it can't be. It's all on a set, but they used tens of thousands of lights to create that daylight effect. Which apparently meant, ironically, that as opposed to feeling really cold in winter, it was really, really hot on the set because of all the heat for the lights. I think everyone was sweltering. But yeah, actually, to be fair, amazing that. Actually, that's probably for me, the best thing about the film, Ed. But back to you.
You can. I think it's good. I don't like disagreeing with people. But I think you can appreciate something as a piece of art without having to actually like it.
I mean, I never like a film where, and I know that you love these films, but if you start typing in the name of a field into YouTube and it starts pre-filling with the word explained at the end, that ain't my kind of film. But I know it's yours. Yeah, that's the difference between you and me, Ed. Any film that you like would probably have that at the end. But yeah, so I watched a couple of those because I thought I don't want to come on in as a complete idiot, but obviously now I've given away the fact that I have watched a couple of those things. But, there's lots of different things in there about, his character, Jack Torrance's character being, well, basically it's same person being reincarnated. Yeah, so that's the flashback to the Overlook 1920, what is it, 21 picture.
21 with the picture, yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's just the same guy being reincarnated and also being always drawn to work there, if you see what I mean. Then there's the whole thing of, or is it like a figment of his imagination? Is everything that's happening just his deterioration because he's an alcoholic and he's? I mean, there's different theories, yeah.
I mean, apparently there are two different cuts of it. There's the European cut and the American cut. The American cut is sort of 10, 15 minutes longer. I've not seen it. I've only seen the European cut, but the European cut sort of leaves it quite ambiguous as to whether it is Jack Torrance suffering a psychotic episode, mental breakdown, whatever you want to call it, brought on by the extreme loneliness and frustration of his life. Whereas the American version has got a lot more supernatural scenes in it, which makes it quite explicit that it is a haunted hotel and they're being haunted. So there are different takes on it. I've not read the book. I'm actually getting the book to read. I like the film that much. I'm going to read the book. So I want to read the original source material and see how that is.
You sort of talk about psychotic though, and sort of whether he's having a psychotic episode. In terms of the casting, there was a few other people in the frame. So they had Robert De Niro in the frame, but apparently after watching Taxi Driver, Kubrick thought he wasn't going to be psychotic enough, and they had Robin Williams in the frame.
Oh, that would have worked. Robin Williams, I didn't know that. De Niro, he can play De Niro very well, not dabbing with faint praise. But Robin Williams, very, very underrated actor. He's done 1 Hour Photo. He's chilling in that, and Robin Williams has the range most definitely.
Well, apparently Kubrick thought after watching Mork and Mindy, if anything, he was a bit too psychotic. So, and the third person who I think was in the frame was Harrison Ford.
I can't see that. That would have been a lot quieter performance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it could. I mean, I suppose it could work. Now, I'm just whilst we're watching this now, I've actually got The Shining on in the background, and Jack Torrance is totally losing it here with his wife. Now, apparently as well, they gave Jack Nicholson on this set here for about 2 weeks or so, just food that he hated, just to well, I think it was on request, yeah, to get him in that frame of mind of being totally narked with everything, I should say.
Come on, you. Oh, come on, Dad. Come on.
Well, wait for Shelley. Shelley,
Die. Ex-murder kill.
all right, you just say turn over when you're ready, Stanley.
But Stanley Kubrick, I don't like him really. I mean, sorry, forgive me, Stanley. I'm sure if you were alive, you'd say lovely things about me. I don't get him personally, but there we are. He was making people do thousands of takes on, well, not thousands, but dozens of takes on this. I think one of the who was the chap that plays the other guy that's got The Shining?
O'Halloran, Scatman Crothers.
That's the one. I couldn't think of what his surname was. That's why I was pausing. Yeah, apparently there was one scene where he made him shoot it like about 100 times, like to the point where I think he probably wanted to walk off the set. Apart from the fact that you'd be thinking, I need the paycheck.
Shelley Duvall apparently had a terrible time off Kubrick. Again, I don't know if this is true or not, so could be hearsay, largely apocryphal, but there's stories of Shelley Duvall being that stressed with the production that she lost some of her hair and things, and making her do again and again. The scene where she's swinging the baseball bat at Jack on the stairs, apparently that was done 60, 70 times.
And there's I've heard things there as well about whether it's like like on the DVD commentary, there's like a snippet where somebody said he said don't give Shelley any sympathy or anything like that, and there's like hearsay that he actually made her life hell, but apparently he was doing it because he wanted to make her feel more helpless and hopeless for the acting.
No desperation. Oh, come on. What do you mean roll
2
video?
seconds.
We're fucking killing ourselves out here, and you're going to be ready.
I am too. I'm standing
Should we
right
play
by
mood
the
music?
door. No, I
Yeah,
can't
but when you
hear.
came in like this, you said just
We're sitting there because they say, wait a minute,
okay.
and then you say on the radio,
But when you
go.
do it, you've got to look desperate, Shelley. You're just wasting everybody's time
I
there.
can this. pulled all my hair. I pulled hunks of hair out on the windowsill. And the back got caught.
Need your trim.
Hunks of hair.
Oh, look.
Okay.
It just comes out.
Okay, right now, fellas.
25 to 1.
I don't sympathise with Shelley.
You don't sympathize with Shelley. Why not?
It doesn't help you, wouldn't it?
Yes, it does. It does.
Another thing about The Shining is the music. The electronic sort of thrum music that sort of gets under your skin. So there's a lot of use of silence, and there's a lot of that sort of whoa, whoa, sort of electronic ambient, almost like ambient noise. Be like Columbo here as well. Just one more thing. I said at the beginning about the film Wrong Foot She from the beginning. Now, first time I saw it, all the way through, I was thinking, oh, Halloran's going to save him, Halloran's going to save him, Halloran's going to save him. Scatman Crothers arrives and gets an axe in the chest. So I just love the way it plays with your expectations, because we think we know what sort of film it is, and it subverts the viewer's expectations, because I don't think you can categorize it. You can't put it into a box as to what type of film it is. I mean, is it a psychological thriller? Is it a horror?
I don't know what it is. Don't actually know what it is.
So this is a new one for Bow Ties and Sometimes Cool. It's something we don't agree on, but we're being gentlemen about it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we've been Bow Ties Sometimes Cool. We've covered off The Shining in the film, but we will be returning when I'd read the book, which might be next month. Might be a year's time. Who knows?
That's more like it, a year's time. I'm a slow reader. And on that bombshell, it's a very, very happy and prosperous 2023 from me.
And from me, all the best. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will catch you in the new year.